Hi, this is How to Understand Genesis 5 Ages number 6. My name is Clark Nelson, and I'm going to detail the Ethiopian religious base that was influencing early Judaism during the antediluvian era. Most everyone in distant prehistory recognized an original 360-day length of year. Central 360-day calendar years are the core mainline time stream that still exists between lunar years and solar years. 5 days add with 360 days to get a typical 365-day solar year. On the opposite side, lunar years count 12 moon months to reach a nominal 354-day or 355-day lunar year. Ancient people chose whole number integer values. Lunar years subtract from 360 days to reveal a bisected kind of lunar solar year. Ethiopians, or more loosely, North Africans, went a step further by separating solar year remaining days and assigning them an elevated status. Antediluvian Ethiopians devised a 364-day calendar year that eventually spread toward Mesopotamia and the Nile River. 4 of the brightest stars were chosen to represent the 4 quarters of the year. Nighttime sky was divided into 4 90-day quarters. One presiding officer star was given paramount control over each of 4 90-day quarters. The final last 365th day of the year was set aside and made holy. Early indications of a single omnipotent God overseeing structured time is apparent. All 4 of the chieftain officers were seen as angelic star presence subservient to the Holy One. Specific instructions were given to omit the last 365th day from the regular length of year. Day-to-year numerical matching might be an overwhelming concept at first. I need to distinguish the special, very ancient 364-day Ethiopic year from the modern 365-day solar year used by Ethiopia as a country. Time Emits uses the hyphenated phrase 364-day Ethiopic year for text and graphics. The third of the 10 Commandments prohibits any form of false idolatry. Exodus 24 begins the most important precept underpinning Judaism, that nothing is allowed to replace or stand for the Almighty. Note 2 references in the Scripture: anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the water under the earth. Exodus 24. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Bright stars certainly apply here. Naming Seth or Isis for planet Venus, or Osiris for star Sirius, and then worshiping them is abhorrent to the Lord. Recall from the last video, Earth was once thought to be like a boat floating in daytime over the waters of darkness during nighttime. Holy One's sentiment confirms a delicate balance was achieved by purposely not counting the last 365th day of the year. The spirit we traditionally call God, in this case, is off the table. The final day simply does not exist and must not be included in the regular computation of the year. No picture or graven image is even possible, let alone any sound or name to apply. We must somehow visualize an empty hole in black space. Try explaining that. No such thing as negative time can exist for us. You are observing a minute of time intentionally left blank in His honor. Switch over to the positive side. Okay, our last final day of the solar year is 24 hours long. Describe this time. What color is it? Is it bigger than a bread box? can anybody hear it. Time is like the wind. We know not where it comes from, nor where it goes. So it is with divine spirit of the Holy One. Civilization at this early juncture is virtually impossible to define with specific names. Emerging groups once occupied lands ranging from Africa to the Nile region and south to the Indus Valley. Neolithic Age archaeology first dates farming communities about 9000 BCE and gradually extends them towards the Bronze Age 4500 BCE period. Some people incorporated the solar side of the calendar to more accurately determine planting and harvesting times. Lunar solar calendars were the natural outgrowth, with whole number 29-day or 30-day months inserted to synchronize lunar and solar sides. Annual flooding of the Nile River Delta allowed consistent farming. Rainy seasons provided bountiful harvests that modified lifestyles from hunter-gatherer or food finder to one reliant upon stable agriculture. The Egyptian legend of two lands, an Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt, results from northern Nile flow to the delta. Lower Egypt shared animism beliefs about afterlife with surrounding territories. Mastabas began as burial mounds for the wealthier class that eventually culminated in the step pyramids of Upper Egypt. Animal zodiacs support the idea that often portrays human bodies with animal heads. Humans serve the mortal, whereas a person's spiritual nature ascends to a righteous place. Paternal, masculine spirituality was associated with solar side worship. Sun god Ra, or Re, gained prominence. Concepts behind the god kings later took shape with the earliest Egyptian dynasties. Abydos in Upper Egypt was the main religious center. Kingship acquired divine status, while deities such as Seth, Horus, Isis, and Osiris were objectives of idol worship. The famous Sphinx portrays Pharaoh's head on a lion body. Horus has a hawk or falcon head on a man. A trend to replace lunar side spiritualism with masculine Seth or feminine Isis for Venus began by 2100 BCE in the Middle Kingdom. Egypt rose to be a dominant power under the pharaohs. Temples and pyramids attest their architectural skills. Egypt grew in governmental stature, including both theocracy and exalted priestly class. Calendar scribes recorded lifetime events by writing something to the effect, "In the umpity-ump year of the reign of King so-and-so, something big happened." The antediluvian patriarchs bore characteristics of a half-human, half-deity role. Like people today, they had mortal flesh and spirit within a single body. Let's look ahead in traditional scripture to find out more about the patriarch Enoch. Enoch embodies flesh and spirit in noteworthy fashion. Jewish sages hold that Enoch was mortal, fleshly, and therefore corruptible during his first 65-year primary age. Methuselah is born, and Enoch continues to have a righteous lifestyle for his next secondary age 300 years. We add these two ages to get Enoch's 365-year summary age and combine discussion with the all-important 364-day Ethiopic year. Enoch's special 364-day Ethiopic year was a solar year with Hebrew traits. Contention occurred between those practicing lunar-side intercalary months and those reckoning solar-side equinoxes and solstices. Mobile groups chose the former method, while fixed locale inhabitants chose the latter. Observing planet Venus also enters the mix, since the ageless five-pointed star habitually follows a nearly perfect 8-solar-year pattern. This is the 2,920-day Venus cycle. Some bright soul realized that counting 8 solar years by 13 different times enabled their group to extend the calendar to 104 solar years. Given that Venus was considered a wandering star, this procedure tied together nicely with 19 and 20-year lunar solar cycles. All the remaining background stars in heaven repeat their positions after the lunar solar cycle. Somebody then began figuring 20 times a 20-year lunar solar cycle resulted in 400 solar years. They too realized the stars had receded to nearly their same original places after 400 solar years. Altogether, 400 solar years had elapsed for every solar side 104-year Venus round. Mathematical squaring of time occurs when a 20-year lunar solar cycle is multiplied by itself. Day-to-year numerical matching changes x days of solar side time split into x years of solar side time split. Substitution principles then permit solar side Venus rounds to stand for 400 solar years of the squared lunar solar cycle. Solar side Venus rounds come in two versions. 104-year Venus rounds are based upon Mayan and Egyptian calendars, and 105-year Venus rounds comprise the early Ethiopic Jewish calendar. My work here is largely supplemented by the Book of Enoch, which contributes some very old and sacred information. We can explore books like this later. For now, I want to show how the 364-day Ethiopic year connects with the Jewish Ethiopic 105-year Venus round solar side time split. Biblical Seth ventures so extremely far back into absolute chronology, we can virtually touch our earliest ancestors. The 364-day Ethiopic year offers a solution that enables day-to-year numerical matching. The Holy One adds one whole year to the Venus round. Individual 364-day Ethiopic years were sustained. The solar side time split lasting one 105-year Venus round for each 400-year lunar solar cycle numerically matches from dividing 210 years of lunar solar separation time by 2. There are 105 days of solar side time split for each 20-year lunar solar cycle and 105 years of solar side time split for each 400-year lunar solar cycle. Time Limit's next video tells more about Seth Isis worship of Venus and relevant Egyptian changes. Mythology and customs carry the Venus round to the Americas. 5 special holidays in the solar year help define the Mayan calendar. We learn what the Bible has to say about Venus. Thanks and stay tuned.